Today we're going to do a review of morebeer.com's Belgian Pale Ale, and it's their kit number 258. They sell this one for around $25 or just under 50 cents a beer, and they describe it basically as a spicy beer, dry and bold in flavor. One thing I did notice about this one as we were brewing it again, it's not light in color like they picture it on their website. The light ale that we looked at last week, it's very similar to that in color, more of an amber, not a light golden color like you see on in the picture that looks more like a Budweiser or a Miller. As far as the fermentation, there's nothing that took place out of the ordinary. As usual, I had it in the fermentation bucket for about a week, and then I moved it over to a secondary, which I usually do just for a little more clarity, and it was there for about a week as well. The target alcohol volume on their spec sheet says that it should be a little over 5, I think 5.1, 5.2%. I ended up with a 4.0, and not sure why that happened. I mean, I got the same barometer readings 3 days in a row before I bottled it, so I guess what I got is what I got, and it's been sitting now for about 3 weeks, so thought we'd give it a shot, see how it tastes. Not much of a head on this one. As you can see, and I know this is a frosty glass, so it's going to be a little bit rough, but you can see it's not a yellow color. It is an amber in color. You know, I think if the glass were not so frosty, you'd see that it's pretty clear. It's a pretty clear amber color. You know. You know, it's a good beer. It's a little bitter. The aroma's a little malty. I've had a bottle of this yesterday or the day before, and I thought it was a little more bitter than I'm tasting it now. It's actually not too bad compared to what I remembered it being when I tried the first bottle. So it may be that now that it's aged a little bit longer, you know, it's mellowing out. The flavors are mellowing out. It has a real clean finish. There's really no aftertaste. It's got a real light body, and the carbonation is actually pretty decent. There's a little bit of a head, and the ones that I've had before this had obviously more of a head on them. You know, it's not too bad. Like I said, there is somewhat of a bitter flavor in it. It's not a terribly bitter flavor. I'm not a big bitter sort of guy. I like a lot of flavor, but I'm not real keen on bitter. I think I'm a little hypersensitive to it. So, you know, I kind of steer away from beers that I think are going to be a little bitter. This one is not bad. I mean, it's not overwhelmingly bitter. And I'm thinking this will probably even mellow a little bit more with time as the flavors come together. So we'll see how it goes. And the carbonation's very decent. The light ale that we looked at last week, it was kind of light on the carbonation, not in a bad way. This has, you know, good carbonation to it. You know, for the price of $25, 50 cents a beer, it's a good beer. Again, the only thing that I find a little disappointing about it, beyond it being just a tad bit bitter, is that there's really nothing as far as an aftertaste. There's nothing gifting on the back end of it, so to speak. You know, I would like something with a little more of an aftertaste than it has, but it's still a good beer, and I think a decent beer for, you know, 50 cents a beer. Coming up next, we've got another Weizen beer that we'll be doing, and then yesterday I brewed a blonde ale. So we'll see how that turns out, but that one's probably about, you know, 4 weeks down the road. And then in the pipeline yet to make, I have a Scottish ale and a wit beer. So kind of looking forward to the wit beer because it has a lot of spices in it, like coriander and orange peel. So that's probably going to be more of a spring summer type ale. So until we meet for the Weizenbier taste, which is rapidly becoming one of my favorite beers, cheers.
Good beer.
This has been a Matty Boy presentation. Say bye-bye, Matty.
Bye-bye.